Hi guys, to begin with, you guys need to pause the video and complete the warm-up. You will have 5 to 6 minutes to do so, and then I will give you the answers. So pause the video and complete your warm-up. Okay, for your answers, you should have gotten negative 4/7 is bigger. 1 4/5 is bigger. 7/16 is bigger. These ones are equal to. To put these in order, you should have had 65%, 2/3, and then 0.75. This one actually ended up to where they were already in order because this ends up being negative 3.36. And since we're negative, we're looking for the one closest to 0 as being the biggest. So negative 336 is our biggest, negative 346 is second, and then negative 355 should have been first. For 7, you should have had B, which is litter 2. Okay, in your notes, you need to make sure that you have your objective today, which is to add fractions and subtract fractions with common denominators. You won't have any vocabulary today, so make sure that this objective gets in your notes though. So to begin with, when we're adding and subtracting like fractions, we notice that our denominators are the same. When our denominators are the same, we just have to do what it tells us to do. So we just have to add our numerators and leave our denominator, and then always end in simplest form. So for example, 5/10 plus 2/10 would result in 5 plus 2, or 7/10, and that's already simplified. And then 11/12 minus 4/12, 11 minus 4 gives us 7, and 7/12 is already simplified. Make sure that you write down examples in your notes and then write down any questions you have so we can cover them when we see you again on Monday. Okay, so to begin with, this chart right here on the right, I would make sure that it is in your notes because it's going to be very useful for you, especially when we're moving on and these boxes are filled in next time. Okay, so we're going to ask ourselves, do we have common denominators? Yes, we do, because they're both 9. Okay, so it tells us, then we're going to follow down and it says keep the common denominator. So 9 is going to be our common denominator. We're going to add our tops, so we have 7/9. And then finally we have to reduce, rewrite as an improper fraction, and label. Well, none of those things are relevant to us, so 7/9 is our final answer. This one, negative 5/8 minus 3/8, this is why it's super important that in chapter 3 you ask questions during the positive and negative, because since we're working with negative still, then this ends up being a keep, change, change. So my denominators stay the same, so I have 8. I'm going to still end up adding because I have 2 negative numbers, so I'm left with negative 8, but I'm not quite done because this isn't simplified. So my final answer would have been negative 1 because negative 8 divided by 8 is negative 1. Okay, pause the video and do these 2 problems, and then I will give you the answers when you get back. When you did these, you should have gotten 12/12, which would have given you 1. This one was a keep, change, change, so you should have gotten negative 9/10. If those are something you had troubles with, make sure you mark them in your notes so we can cover it on Monday. Okay, pause the video and you're going to do these 7 problems, and then when you come back, we'll give you the answers. Welcome back. This one you should have gotten 3/3, which would have given you 1. This one is a negative plus a positive, so they're different signs, so I have to subtract. So 3 minus 2, or 3 minus 1 is 2, over my common denominator 7, stays the same. A negative 2 plus a negative 2 is negative 4/5. It's simplified, I'm done. A negative 1 plus 1 is actually 0/4, so this one just becomes 0 because I have nothing there. 5 minus 2, since they're both positive, I'm just going to do the simple subtraction. So 5 minus 2 is 3. My common denominator is 9. And then I can divide these both by 3, so that way I get my simplified answer, and you're going to get 1/3. This one, since I'm working with a negative, I'm going to keep change, and you'll end up with -7/9 because I'm going to add my two negatives. This one, I'm still going to end up with a keep change, and then since I have two different signs, I'm going to subtract. So you're left with 6/12, -6/12 because my negative's bigger, and you're left with -1/2 to end with. Okay, make sure at any time during the video, if this is going too quick, to pause it and write down any work that you would need. So that way you make sure you're caught up and all of your notes have your examples for your quiz next week. Okay, take a quick 2-minute break, and then when you get back, we will start again. Now you're going to work with word problems. So Sophia ate 3/5 of the cheese pizza, Jack ate 1/5 of it, and 2/5 of a pepperoni pizza. How much pizza did Sophie and Jack eat all together? So if they ate 3/5 plus 1/5 plus 2/5, I'm adding all those together. Even though I have 3, my common denominator is still 5. 3 plus 1 plus 2 gives me 6. So notice now I have a numerator that's bigger. So I have to take 6 divided by 5, and I'll end up with a decimal or a fraction. So if I take 5 into 6, 5 goes into 6 one time, and I'm left with 1, and I have to put it back over my denominator in order to complete that fraction. So always take your denominator and put it into your numerator just like we did last time. Okay, this one, a picture mounted on artboard, is 1/8 inch thick. The frame of the picture is 5/8 inch thick. How much thicker is the picture than the frame? So I'm going to subtract this one. So I'm going to do 5/8 minus 1/8. Okay, so 5 minus 1 would give me 4 divided by 8, and to reduce this I would get 1/2. Okay, so it's a 1/2 inch thicker than the frame. So you guys do this one, and then I'll give you the answer when you come back. So for this one, when Kiefer worked on a project for 3/10 of an hour, he worked on it for 7/10 of an hour, and on Wednesday he worked for 9/10. You should have added all these together. So 9 plus 7 plus 3, and that's all going to be over 10 because that's our common denominator. So you should have gotten 19 over 10, but that is not simplified, so that'll only be half correct. 10 goes into 9 one time, and I'm left with 9 left over of my 10. So 1 9/10 should have been your final answer. Okay, you guys need to do these 8 problems. Make sure that you tear them out of your book and turn them in so I can look over them as like an exit ticket. And then you guys will begin working on your practice and then your graded practice or homework for the night. Have a great Thursday, and I will see you all Monday.